Imagine waking up one day and realizing that time has passed you by. The opportunities you once had are gone. The dreams you carried unfulfilled. The potential you were meant to unlock wasted, not because you weren't capable, but because no one ever told you what truly mattered before it was too late. We live in a world that tells young people to chase success, to hustle, to work hard. But rarely do we stop and ask, why? Rarely do we take a step back and understand what truly drives fulfillment, purpose, and long-term success. Success in life is not about how fast you can move. It's about knowing where you're going before you start running. Too many young people believe that speed is everything. They see others achieving things quickly, making money fast, gaining popularity overnight, or achieving early success. And they assume that moving quickly is the key to a successful life. But what happens when you move fast in the wrong direction? What happens when you spend years climbing a ladder only to realize it was leaning against the wrong wall? The world today is obsessed with speed. Social media floods us with stories of young entrepreneurs making millions before they turn 25, influencers going viral overnight, and people seemingly achieving success in record time. This creates a false sense of urgency. It makes young people feel like they are falling behind if they don't have everything figured out by the time they reach their 20s. What no one talks about is the number of people who rushed into something only to realize later that it wasn't what they truly wanted. The truth is, speed without direction is dangerous. It leads to burnout, regret, and wasted time. Moving quickly in the wrong direction only takes you further away from where you're actually meant to be. This is why clarity is far more important than speed. Before chasing anything, whether it's a career, a business idea, or a personal goal, you need to ask yourself some important questions. Why am I doing this? What am I really passionate about? What kind of life do I want to build? If you don't answer these questions first, you risk spending years pursuing something that doesn't truly fulfill you. Many people end up in careers they hate because they never stopped to think about what they actually wanted. They simply followed the crowd, took the first opportunity that came their way, or pursued something because society told them it was the right path. They rushed into decisions based on pressure rather than purpose. And later in life, they wake up feeling stuck, realizing that all their effort and hard work led them to a place they don't even want to be. When you have clarity, you don't waste time chasing things that don't matter. You don't say yes to every opportunity just because it's available. You don't compare yourself to others because you're focused on your own path. Clarity allows you to make intentional decisions. It helps you build a life that aligns with your values, not just one that looks successful from the outside. Getting clarity takes time, and that's okay. It requires self-reflection. It requires asking yourself difficult questions. It means being honest about what excites you, what drains you, and what kind of impact you want to have. Some people discover their purpose early, while others take years to figure it out. But what matters is that you take the time to find it before you start sprinting in a direction that might not be right for you. Society often glorifies being busy. People wear their packed schedules like a badge of honor. They equate movement with progress. But being busy is not the same as being productive. Just because you're constantly doing something doesn't mean you're moving toward the right destination. If you don't have clarity, you might be putting in effort every day, but not actually getting any closer to what truly matters to you. There's a story about a group of people lost in a dense jungle. They move fast, cutting through the thick trees, trying to find their way out. One person decides to climb a tree to get a better view of the landscape. After a few moments, they call down to the group and say, "We're going in the wrong direction." But the people below, still focused on moving quickly, replied, "We don't have time to stop. We need to keep going." This is what happens when you prioritize speed over clarity. You end up working hard but going nowhere. Some of the most successful people in the world took their time to figure out what they truly wanted before committing to a past. They didn't rush into things just because everyone else was moving fast. They understood that clarity was the foundation of meaningful success. When you have clarity, every step you take has purpose. Every decision is made with intention. You don't just react to life, you create a life that aligns with your vision. Young people often feel pressure to have their entire life figured out as soon as possible. They feel like they need to achieve big things quickly to prove their worth. But what they don't realize is that the people who achieve lasting success are the ones who take the time to build a strong foundation first. They are the ones who focus on clarity before speed. They don't rush into things blindly. They take time to learn, to explore, to understand themselves before making big decisions. It's easy to look at others who seem to be moving fast and feel like you're behind. It's simply not the truth. Entrepreneurs grow, but what you don't see is what's happening behind the scenes. You don't see the people who rushed into something and now regret it. You don't see the ones who achieved success quickly but lost it just as fast because they weren't truly prepared. You don't see the ones who had to start over because they realized they had been chasing the wrong things. Clarity gives you confidence. It allows you to move with purpose. It ensures that when you do start moving fast, you're going in the right direction. Without it, you risk wasting years of your life running towards something that won't bring you fulfillment. So before you rush into action, take the time to gain clarity. Understand what truly matters to you, because once you have that, every step you take will bring you closer to the life you actually want to live. In today's world, the word networking is thrown around constantly. Young people are told to build their networks, connect with influential people, and expand their reach as much as possible. They go to events, collect business cards, send LinkedIn requests, and try to impress as many people as they can. The idea is simple. The more people you know, the more opportunities you will have. But there's a flaw in this approach. Networking is often surface level, transactional, and driven by self-interest. What truly matters in life and success is not just how many people you know, but the depth of the relationships you build. Real relationships go beyond quick handshakes and casual conversations. They require trust, authenticity, and meaningful connection. Many young people approach networking with a mindset of, what can I get from this person? Instead of, how can I add value? They focus on collecting contacts rather than cultivating relationships. But opportunities don't come from the number of people who know your name. They come from the people who trust you, believe in you, and are willing to go out of their way to help you. Trust is not built through a one-time interaction. It is built through consistency, reliability, and genuine care. The problem with traditional networking is that it often lacks sincerity. People exchange pleasantries, talk about their achievements, and make small talk, but they don't form real bonds. They don't invest the time to understand the other person's goals, struggles, or values. This results in weak connections that fade quickly. On the other hand, strong relationships are built on mutual support, not just mutual benefit. That when you prioritize relationships over networking, you don't just try to meet people who can help you. You focus on becoming the kind of person others want to be around. One of the biggest mistakes young people make is thinking that relationships should only be built with people who are already successful or influential. They chase connections with CEOs, influencers, and industry leaders while ignoring the people around them, peers, colleagues, and mentors who could grow with them. Some of the strongest relationships are built with those who are on the same journey as you. Many of the most powerful business partnerships, creative collaborations, and lifelong friendships started when both people were at the beginning of their journey, not when they had already made it. Genuine relationships are not built overnight. They require time, patience, and effort. It's about showing up for people, supporting them when they need it, and proving that you care about them beyond just what they can do for you. It means being there when things are difficult, not just when they are successful. Real relationships are tested in hard times. When you help someone without expecting anything in return, when you celebrate their wins as if they were your own, and when you listen more than you speak, you create bonds that last. Another mistake young people make is thinking that networking is about talking, selling themselves, and impressing others. But the most impactful relationships are built through listening. People remember those who make them feel heard, understood, and valued. When you focus on listening instead of just waiting for your turn to speak, you create deeper connections. You learn what truly matters to the other person, what they struggle with, and how you can help. This is what separates real relationships from shallow networking. Social media has made it easier than ever to connect with people, but it has also made relationships more superficial. Likes, comments, and follows create an illusion of connection, but they are not the same as real relationships. Having thousands of followers does not mean having thousands of people who will support you when you need them. Relationships require more than digital interactions. They require effort in the real world, phone calls, face-to-face meetings, and shared experiences. In any field, success is rarely achieved alone. The most successful people are not just the smartest or the hardest working. They are the ones who have strong relationships. They have people who believe in them, who open doors for them, and who support them through failures and successes. And these relationships are not built through calculated networking strategies, but through real human connection. Young people are often advised to find a mentor, but mentorship is not something that happens through a single conversation or a formal request. It happens organically through mutual respect, shared values, and consistent interaction. The best mentors are not just those who have achieved success, but those who genuinely care about your growth. And the best way to attract great mentors is not by asking them for favors, but by showing that you are willing to learn, grow, and contribute. In a world where people are constantly looking for ways to get ahead, one of the most powerful things you can do is focus on relationships, not just transactions. People remember those who made a real impact on their lives. They remember those who showed up, who listened, who supported them without expecting anything in return. The opportunities that come from real relationships are far greater than those that come from surface-level networking. Failure is something most people fear. From a young age, society teaches us to avoid mistakes, to strive for perfection, and to see failure as something negative. Schools reward those who get things right and penalize those who get things wrong. Social media highlights success stories but rarely shows the struggle behind them. As a result, many young people grow up believing that failure is something to be ashamed of, something that defines them, something that should be avoided at all costs. Hey, but this mindset is dangerous because it keeps people from taking risks, trying new things, and pushing themselves beyond their comfort zones. The truth is, failure is not an identity, it is a lesson. It is not something that defines who you are, it is something that refines who you are. Every successful person has failed, often multiple times. The difference is that they did not allow those failures to stop them. Dean Davis returns to Debbie Moore's character when he's set in mine refinery, in this case, Saudi Arabia. To earn the trust of his descendants, Dean David taught his descendants that he was safe. They did not let failure become their identity. Instead, they used failure as feedback, as a way to learn, as a stepping stone to something greater. The most valuable lessons in life do not come from success. They come from failure. When a child learns to walk, they fall over and over again. But they do not stop trying. They do not think, maybe walking isn't for me. They get back up and try again until they succeed. The reason they succeed is that they do not see failure as an identity. They see it as part of the process. Somewhere along the way, as people grow older, they start attaching their self-worth to their results. They start believing that failing at something means they are a failure. But this is a false belief. Some of the greatest innovators, entrepreneurs, and leaders in history have failed more times than most people will ever try. Thomas Edison, when working on the light bulb, reportedly failed thousands of times before he succeeded. When asked about it, he did not say he had failed. He said he had found thousands of ways that didn't work. That mindset is what separates those who succeed from those who give up too soon. The ability to see failure as a lesson rather than a label is one of the most important skills a person can develop. So fear of failure holds many people back from even starting. They worry about what others will think, about looking foolish, about making mistakes. But in reality, the only true failure is not trying at all. Every time someone hesitates because of fear, they miss an opportunity to grow. Every time they avoid taking action, they stay in the same place. Growth does not happen in comfort, it happens in It happens when people push themselves, take risks, and embrace the possibility of failing. One of the reasons failure is so valuable is that it teaches resilience. Life will never be a straight path. There will always be obstacles, setbacks, and moments of disappointment. People who fear failure tend to crumble when things don't go as planned, while those who embrace failure as part of the process learn to adapt and keep moving forward. Resilience is not something people are born with. It is something they develop through experience, through facing challenges, through failing and getting back up again. Failure also reveals character. When things are going well, it is easy to be confident and optimistic. But how a person responds to failure says far more about them than how they handle success. Do they give up at the first sign of difficulty? Or do they learn from their mistakes and try again? Do they let failure break them, or do they let it build them? The people who achieve the greatest success in life are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who refuse to let failure define them. One of the biggest misconceptions about failure is that it is permanent. People assume that failing at something means they are stuck, that they have ruined their chances, that there is no coming back. But failure is never the end unless a person decides to stop trying. Some of the most inspiring success stories come from people who failed repeatedly before they finally broke through. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first television job. Steve Jobs was removed from his own company before making a legendary comeback. J.K. Rowling faced multiple rejections before publishing Harry Potter. The common theme among all these stories is not the absence of failure, but the refusal to let failure define them. Many people allow failure to become an excuse. They convince themselves that because they failed once, they will always fail. They stop trying, settle for less, and avoid taking risks. But failure should never be seen as proof of inability. It should be seen as proof of effort. The only people who never fail are those who never try anything new. Playing it safe might protect someone from failure, but it also prevents them from achieving anything meaningful. Failure is a teacher, not a judge. It provides insights that success never could. It shows weaknesses that need to be strengthened, strategies that need to be adjusted, and perspectives that need to be changed. The lessons learned from failure often lead to breakthroughs that would never have happened otherwise. The problem is that many people are so focused on avoiding failure that they miss the lessons it has to offer. The most important shift a person can make is to stop fearing failure and start seeing it as part of growth. When failure is no longer viewed as something shameful, it loses its power. It becomes a tool for improvement rather than a source of discouragement. It is not failure itself that holds people back. It is the way they perceive it. The moment someone stops seeing failure as an identity and starts seeing it as a lesson, they unlock their true potential. Many young people go through life waiting for the perfect moment. They tell themselves that once they have more experience, more confidence, or more resources, then they will take action. They believe that success comes to those who have everything figured out, that there will be a moment when they feel fully ready, but that moment never comes. The truth is, no one ever feels completely prepared. No one ever starts with all the answers. No one ever starts with all the answers. The people who achieve great things are not the ones who waited for the perfect moment. They are the ones who started despite the uncertainty. Waiting for the right time is one of the biggest traps a person can fall into. It creates an illusion of progress while keeping them stuck in the same place. They might spend years preparing, researching, and planning, thinking that they are getting closer to their goal. And they've disappointed everyone. But preparation without action leads nowhere. Growth does not come from knowing what to do. It comes from doing it. Clarity comes from action, not from overthinking. The only way to truly learn, improve, and gain experience is by stepping into the unknown and figuring things out along the way. Fear is what keeps most people stuck in the cycle of waiting. They fear failure, rejection, and embarrassment. They worry about making mistakes, looking foolish, or being judged by others. But fear is not a signal to stop. It is a sign that something is worth pursuing. The most successful people in any field still experience fear, but they do not let it control them. They take action despite it. They understand that fear is not eliminated before action. It is conquered through action. One of the greatest myths about success is that people need to be confident before they start. Many believe that confidence is something that comes first, and only once they feel sure of themselves can they take the necessary steps forward. But confidence is not the cause of action, it is the result of action. No one starts with unshakable confidence. It is built over time by doing the things that feel uncomfortable, by facing challenges, and by proving to oneself that they are capable. The more action a person takes, the more confident they become. Young people often compare themselves to others who are already successful and assume that those people had some advantage they didn't. They look at successful entrepreneurs, artists, or athletes and assume that they had everything figured out from the start. But what they don't see are the early struggles, the doubts, the failures, and the moments of uncertainty. Every expert was once a beginner. Every successful person had a first step, a first attempt, a first failure. The difference is that they did not let their lack of experience hold them back. They started before they felt ready. Perfectionism is another barrier that prevents young people from taking action. They want everything to be perfect before they begin. They want to have the perfect plan, the perfect conditions, and the perfect skills. But perfection is an illusion. It is a form of procrastination disguised as preparation. Nothing will ever be perfect, and waiting for perfection only leads to missed opportunities. The best way to improve is through doing, through trial and error, through learning from mistakes and adjusting along the way. The faster a person accepts imperfection, the faster they can make progress. Another common mistake is seeking permission. And many young people wait for someone else to tell them they are ready. They seek validation from teachers, mentors, employers, or society before they feel comfortable taking action. But waiting for permission means giving away power. No one else can decide when someone is ready. No one else can guarantee success. The only way to move forward is to take responsibility for one's own journey and make the decision to start. But people also underestimate the power of momentum. Taking the first step is often the hardest part, but once movement begins, it becomes easier to keep going. Small actions lead to bigger actions. Progress builds on itself. The mistake many people make is thinking they need to take massive leaps all at once. But success is not built on one big decision. It is built on a series of small, consistent actions over time. A single step in the right direction is more valuable than 1,000 intentions that never turn into reality. Doubt will always be present. Even the most accomplished individuals still experience moments of uncertainty. The key is not to eliminate doubt, but to move forward despite it. People who wait until they feel completely certain before taking action will wait. For those who succeed are the ones who take the leap, even when they are unsure, trusting that they will figure things out as they go. Young people often look back on opportunities they missed because they hesitated. They regret not taking chances, not speaking up, not starting something when they had the chance. Fear of failure fades over time, but regret lingers. The pain of wondering, what if, is far worse than the discomfort of trying and failing. The only way to avoid that regret is to take action now. Many young people go through life trying to please everyone around them. They seek approval from their parents, their teachers, their peers, and even strangers on social media. They shape their choices based on what others expect rather than what they truly want. They worry about disappointing people, about being judged, about standing out too much. But living for the approval of others is one of the fastest ways to lose yourself. The truth is, no matter what you do, you will never please everyone. There will always be someone who disagrees, someone who criticizes, someone who thinks you should have done things differently. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you free yourself from the weight of other people's expectations. One of the biggest dangers of seeking approval is that it leads to a life that is not truly yours. You may follow a career path that others think is practical rather than what excites you. You may stay in friendships or relationships that don't serve you because you don't want to upset anyone. You may suppress your real opinions, your real interests, and your real dreams because they don't fit the mold that others have created for you. Over time, this creates frustration, resentment, and even regret. You wake up one day realizing that you have spent years living someone else's life instead of your own. The fear of what others think is often exaggerated in our minds. Most people are too focused on their own lives to spend much time judging yours. Even if they do judge, their opinions don't change reality. They don't pay your bills, they don't live with your choices, and they don't experience the consequences of your decisions. You've met my daughter. You know how smart, happy, and confident her is. You do. Letting other people's opinions dictate your life is like giving them control over a destiny that only you should shape. People who achieve greatness are often the ones who refuse to conform. They are the ones who embrace their uniqueness, who pursue what excites them, who are not afraid to take an unconventional path. They understand that standing out will always attract criticism. But they also know that fitting in means sacrificing their true potential. Every great thinker, innovator, and leader in history has faced opposition. If they had listened to their critics, they would have never made an impact. Seeking approval can also lead to hesitation and inaction. You may have an idea, a dream, a goal, but you hesitate to take action because you are waiting for validation. You want someone to reassure you that you are making the right choice. You want the people around you to cheer you on and tell you they support your decision. But sometimes that validation never comes. People are often skeptical of anything unfamiliar. They project their own fears, their own doubts, and their own limitations onto you. If you wait for everyone to agree with you, you may never move forward. True confidence comes from making decisions based on what aligns with your values, your passions, and your vision, not based on what others will think. It comes from trusting yourself enough to know that you are capable of figuring things out, even if others doubt you. The more you rely on external approval, the more you weaken your own sense of direction. But the more you trust yourself, the stronger you become. One of the hardest but most important lessons to learn is that not everyone will understand your journey. Some people will doubt you, some will criticize you, and some may even try to discourage you, but their understanding is not required for you to succeed. Your path is yours alone, and it does not need to make sense to everyone else. The moment you stop trying to explain yourself to those who will never get it is the moment you gain true freedom. Letting go of the need for approval does not mean ignoring advice or shutting out feedback. It means being selective about whose opinions you value. There is a difference between constructive feedback from those who have experience and blind criticism from those who have never walked your path. Surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, support you, and push you to be better is valuable. But trying to win the approval of people who don't even have your best interests at heart is a waste of energy. People often fear rejection because they assume it means they are not good enough. But rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of preference. Not everyone will like you, not everyone will agree with you, and not everyone will support you. That is okay. What matters is that you like yourself, that you agree with your own choices, and that you support your own growth. The people who truly belong in your life will respect you for being authentic rather than for fitting into their expectations. So, breaking free from approval seeking is a process. It requires unlearning years of conditioning, stepping outside of comfort zones, and being willing to stand alone if necessary. It means being okay with disappointing some people, being misunderstood, and even being criticized. But it also means stepping into a life that is truly yours, a life where your choices are driven by what matters to you, not by what others expect. The greatest freedom comes from knowing that you do not need anyone's permission to be yourself. Time is the most valuable resource we have, yet it is often the one most taken for granted. Many young people believe they have all the time in the world. They delay important decisions, procrastinate on their goals, and assume that there will always be another opportunity down the road. They fail to realize that time is finite and that every day they spend not taking action is one less day they have to reach their potential. The truth is, time waits for no one. It moves forward relentlessly whether we are ready or not. The problem with taking time for granted is that it leads to missed opportunities. People waste time on things that don't matter, whether it's mindlessly scrolling through social media, engaging in unnecessary drama, or avoiding challenges because they seem too difficult. They think they can always start tomorrow, next week, or next year, but those days never come. Every day that passes is a day that could have been used to grow, to learn, to work toward a dream. Time is a resource that cannot be replenished. Once it's gone forever. Young people often make the mistake of assuming that they have plenty of time to change, to chase their dreams, or to fix mistakes. They believe that they will be able to do it later. But as time passes, it becomes harder to make those changes based on their own frustrations. They're absolutely right. Later is less time. I totally understand that. But the other thing that I would say to kids who feel the longer you wait, the more excuses you make, the more habits you form that keep you stuck. Procrastination becomes a cycle that's difficult to break. Each day you delay is a day that could have been used to make progress, to develop new skills, to create the future you want. Waiting for the right moment is an illusion. The right moment is now. One of the biggest challenges young people face is the pressure to do it all. They are told to focus on their education, their career, their relationships, their health, and their personal development all at once. The expectation is overwhelming, and it can feel like there is never enough time to accomplish everything. However, the key to managing time effectively is not doing more, it's doing the right things. It's about prioritizing what matters most and focusing on those things with intention. You don't need to do everything at once, but you do need to be strategic with how you use your time. A common misconception is that success requires sacrifice in every area of life. Many young people believe that they have to give up their social lives, their hobbies, or their health in order to succeed. But the reality is that success comes from balance. It's not about working nonstop until you burn out. It's about creating a life that aligns with your values and goals while also making time for rest, relaxation, and enjoyment. Time management isn't just about filling every hour with productivity, it's about creating a sustainable rhythm that allows you to thrive in all aspects of life. One of the most effective ways to use time wisely is to create a vision for the future. Without a clear direction, it's easy to waste time on distractions or to drift aimlessly. A clear vision helps to focus your energy on what truly matters. It's about setting long-term goals and breaking them down into smaller, achievable steps. When you know where you want to go, it becomes easier to make decisions that align with your vision. Time spent working toward a meaningful goal is never wasted. Another important aspect of time management is learning to say no. Many young people struggle with boundaries. They feel obligated to say yes to every invitation, every request, every opportunity, but not every opportunity is worth your time. Saying yes to everything means saying no to what truly matters. Being selective about how you spend your time is crucial to achieving your goals. It's okay to turn down invitations, to not be available for every event, to prioritize your own well-being and growth. The ability to say no is not a weakness, it's a strength. Time also has a direct impact on personal growth. The more time you invest in learning new skills, in expanding your knowledge, in challenging yourself, the more you grow. Personal growth doesn't happen in a vacuum. It requires time and effort. The more you commit to your own development, the more equipped you become to face life's challenges and pursue your dreams. The time you spend working on yourself is an investment that will pay off in ways you can't always see in the moment, but will eventually become clear as you look back on your journey. One of the biggest mistakes young people make is thinking that they have time to figure it out later. They put off making decisions, starting projects, or taking risks because they assume they will have more clarity in the future. But the truth is, clarity comes from experience. The more you do, the more you learn. The more you put yourself out there, the more you discover what works and what doesn't. You won't always have all the answers, but you will never have the answers if you don't start. Time is the only way to gain the experience you need to make informed decisions and move forward. It's easy to look back on time wasted and regret the choices made, but it's never too late to start using time wisely. Every moment is an opportunity to make a change, to take action, to move closer to your goals. Time may be limited, but how you use it is up to you. You have the power to make the most of the time you have. The question is, how will you choose to use it? Will you wait for the right time? Or will you start now?